Hey, welcome to the show. Feeling good with Duddy. That's me. Let's go.
Oh, hello. We're back. We're in the bunker for another episode of Feeling Good with Duddy. An impromptu episode. We didn't plan this Friday drop, and we've got Mike Sutherland and Jeff Neeson, two famous names. Kiefer Sutherland, Liam Neeson. One saved the world, one beat up a bunch of Eastern Europeans to save his daughter. You know who they are. They're famous. We've got the boys from Another Take. They also have a podcast. It's called Another Take. We're both going to release this episode Friday. It's a swap cast. And we've got the host, the man, Duddy B.
What's happening? You heard it here. This is another episode of Feeling Good with Duddy and Another Take Swapcast.
Swapcast.
I had jumped into my airtight bubble car. I drove through the wasteland, past all of the tumbleweeds, got to the bunker, climbed down the 100-foot ladder, took off my rubber glove, cavity checked myself. You know how it goes. Jumped in the pool of Purell, got out, walked through the Total Recall X-ray machine, put a thermometer in my mouth, 98.7. Then I held my breath for 30 seconds. So you know, I don't got it.
That's right. No Rona for Duddy. I once again walked in, sneezed on a drifter, then shook his hand, and just walked right into the studio. No checks for me. Could be a carrying member. But I'm here in the bunker with you guys.
Yeah.
And we've got the boys from Another Take. This just happened out of nowhere. This swap cast, we're calling it, right?
Don't worry about that drifter, though. I actually cavity checked him, too.
You did?
He's good.
The drifter's good.
He's good.
Same drifter every day at the top of the bunker. He's trying to get in. We'll let him in one day when it gets cold enough. All right. So, yeah, Duddy, set this up. Why do we have the boys from Another Take podcast in here today? What's going on?
Well, I desperately need to finish one last verse for this Dirty Heads album, and you know, studios and things are closed, and so Mike was coming in to record the verse for me, and we figured if he's going to come down here all the way to the bunker and climb down the 100-foot ladder and go through all that stuff,
The Purell.
you know, we might as well just record a podcast as well. And we were thinking about, you know, here, let's you do ours, and then you know, we'll do yours after. And we said, you know what, let's just do one at the same time and release it on both servers.
Yep.
Perfect. We had Sam Tripoli on several episodes ago, and he's way more professional at this than any of us. And he told us about the swap cast. Yeah, you record one show, you guys both release it, makes life easy. So we're trying one here today. Awesome stuff. And this actually leads us right into kind of the Dirty Heads news at the top, because Mike has not only tour managed for the Dirty Heads, but obviously you're here to record a verse with Duddy. What is your relationship right now? What's going on? You and Mike are in the bunker for more than just you doing a verse, right? Are you doing the sound for the live streams as well?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's
Yeah.
what I'm kind of getting into. They're both looking at me like, the fuck are you getting at, dude? What are we in a relationship? No, nothing. Yes, he's also recording, you know, doing the sound for the Dirty Heads live streams every other Friday. So
Yeah.
what's going on with that, dudes? How's it been? What's cracking?
It's been awesome. Actually, the first one was so fun, going back over some of those old songs we haven't played in 10 years, probably, some of those tracks. So it was great to go back, and we're really excited about the next one, The Cabin by the Sea. We're starting rehearsals on it, getting ready for it, and you know, still a couple bugs to work out. You know, we're getting it better. You know, I think the last one we did was a lot better than the first one, and I think this next one's going to be better than the last.
So every 2 weeks, and you can keep stepping up just the professionalism, and every other week is going to be a different album. You guys are going chronologically from the first album all the way up through the newest album, playing songs you haven't played forever. And okay, so we've talked a lot with Duddy about how these coronal times affect bands and everything, and you're a tour manager, you're a sound guy. You were also doing sound on the Rome and Duddy tour, which got canceled, which is how this is what led us to being in the bunker, Duddy and I, was the cancellation of the Rome and Duddy tour.
Yep.
Duddy has nothing to do with his life. I'm a barber. I don't have any work right now. Yeah, that's right.
Wait,
Duddy, you
this is
are
great
on
news.
stage.
I know Noah Barber that can cut my hair.
That's
I don't
right.
have to rely
you
on
do.
my wife.
And
God.
you know that Duddy has nothing in his life besides
Apparently.
music. Yeah. You heard it here first. Very true. And so we start doing the show in the bunker. So how has it affected you? I'm assuming the same way it's affected Duddy, but you're not working at all, right?
No.
Except for the live streams. now.
Yeah, the live stream stuff is kind of taken over. There's, with no shows, my job ceases to exist. There's really no reason for anyone to need a tour manager or
Yep.
even a sound guy, really. It's kind of like what do I do with myself? You know,
Yeah,
Like,
a lot of the
I-
live streams have been just in their living
in their
room.
living rooms. Yeah, or like they've mixed it in a studio, and I started as a studio engineer primarily. Now I do live work, but yeah, I mixed one song for Rome, you know, for Fresh Goods, like the music label. And then I've been doing the live stream and then our podcast and managing 2 children, and that's it.
Managing.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, yeah, if I'm tour managing anything, it's the children. And my wife's actually doing that. So maybe I'm not doing that at all.
Damn.
And Duddy's
Yeah.
got 2 children too, so
Yeah.
he has much more going on in the music as well.
Yeah.
But and so to your guys' podcast, real quick, because we also have Jeff Neeson here. And
Yeah.
real quickly, what's up with your guys' show? What's the deal? What's it about? What's the story?
It's generally music related, but
Okay.
we have athletes, we have, you name it, artists. We actually took about a year or 2 hiatus because Mike's been tour managing and had been on the road so much. I've been on the road forever. I play with a band called Brett Bollinger and the Bad Habits. Brett's from Pepper. I do a lot of work with them in studio. We've both just been crazy busy. I was actually supposed to be in the Virgin Islands right now, but playing with Brett, and that got
crushed.
canceled. So yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
So both of us were just looking for anything to do. I feel like as an artist, when you can't tour, which is A, your main source of income, and B, your main creative outlet, it's like, if I take a deep breath and step back for too long, I'm going to have like a full-on panic attack. So I just need to keep busy, and this podcast has been firing it back up. It's been so awesome. Thanks for having us too, by the way.
Oh
It's
yeah,
sweet.
Our
and
pleasure.
it's this. It sounds super similar to Duddy and I, you know, because when
Yeah.
he's on the road, we are not sure how to do this podcast
Right.
when he's on the road, and so now that he's not, this is an avenue for us to be creative and talk and at least hang out with friends. So we're super lucky, all of us, that we have a podcast. It's like otherwise, what would we be doing? We'd have
Yeah.
to start a podcast right now,
Yeah.
which is what
A
everyone
lot
on
of
earth is
people are
doing.
it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, you guys are kind of in the same boat as us. Then, because of the downtime, let's fire up the podcast and dive
Keep
into
busy.
it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Hell yeah.
Did you say we had some questions, Jake?
We do. So yeah, let's get into the listener questions. Let me pull them up on my phone. Only 2, but that's cool.
That's
we only
okay.
asked for them a little bit ago,
We
but
forgot to ask until about 10 minutes before we started. Hey!
impromptu, everybody.
Michael Yarno. Hey, he is
Oh,
alive.
he's a legend. Yarno.
Question for Mike. Being a tour manager, was there ever a show you thought was surely going to be canceled, but despite the reasons, the show still went on? That's actually a great fucking
That
question.
is
Yeah.
a really good question. Let me think about that. There have definitely been a few occasions where I wasn't sure. Well, geez. I wasn't sure it was going to happen. The one that I can't help but think of is this show that I did in South Florida for a promoter, and I'm going to refrain from saying the band's name for just out of respect. But the promoter put on the show, and it was the jankiest stage that I've ever seen, and the safety of everyone involved was one of those things where it was like, okay, if we move forward with this show and someone gets hurt, I am responsible ultimately. And that comes to mind where it was like we figured 4 or 5 different ways to secure the stage so that there was no fear of being hurt. And the funniest thing about this is all of the worry that we had about the stage, the show still partially it didn't get canceled, but we had to cut it short because it was outside and we were in South Florida, and the lightning
Oh, the lightning will always shut it down.
will shut you down no matter what. You have a metal structure and 1,000 people nearby, and
There's
all
like
of
a
a sudden,
60% chance there will be lightning in Florida,
in Florida.
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's every time I've been there to see the Dirty Heads, it's like it almost always rains.
They say it's just every day.
It's
yeah,
just
it just never ends.
Good luck.
Sometimes it's honestly for like 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
And it'll just wham, it'll just hit so hard and you're like, holy shit, this is never gonna stop. And then 2 minutes
Gone.
later, you're just like, oh, the sky's blue.
Yeah, and that's probably the other than the COVID ones that we had.
Yeah.
Those were where I was like days before, like, okay, what's the word?
for the last couple days.
The
Yeah, you're
last
like,
couple
are we
days
playing
we were
tonight?
on tour,
We are? Okay.
and shows were happening. They weren't happening. They one got canceled, but we still had another one after that didn't get
And
canceled.
we were hearing about all of our other friends'
yeah.
bands getting canceled. And
yeah.
I never thought about that. So certain shows are falling off the map for you guys, but there's ones a
Yep.
little further in the future that haven't yet. So you're like, do we
Continue?
try to do? But you
Yeah.
kind of saw the writing on the wall. Nah, these shows are going to be done.
Yeah.
We
going-
kind of knew it, but we were out there until they told us it was just done,
Yeah.
and then
Yep.
we got the calls like everything is done.
Everything is done.
So you guys pretty much clear right now? Do you have any? When's the next show as far as
I
anyone
mean,
knows?
we have the rescheduled festivals in October,
Which even then.
which it's like
Yeah.
I hope they go on.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. But it's
we'll
like
see, but
music
we'll
will probably be
see.
the
as
last
far
thing
as
to
the
fire
summer
up.
goes, no, we don't have one show scheduled
Yeah.
for the summer.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Same. Ugh.
I've been looking at, because I do Sublime with Rome as like my main client. I've been looking at our grid that like shows the schedules for upcoming shows, and I see temporary, I see confirmed, I see pending, I see holds, and I'm just watching them beginning in March, just cancel, and then some in July were still confirmed. And then I'd check, 3 or 4 days later, that one's canceled. And then 3 weeks later, there's another show, and you're like, oh, that one's canceled too. Like,
Dude, it's like you're in the airport when there's weather, and,
Yeah.
and your flight's still on the board, but you're watching them all turn can. You're like, bruh,
red.
am I going to be the only flight that? Nope,
No.
canceled. I'm
You're
in a
canceled.
taxi and I'm going home. This is.
Damn. That was a good
Damn
question.
it.
I do remember one show that I remember I was just like, there's no way that we're actually going to go out there and play the show. But we did, and this was a while back. It was on the bottom of a mountain in like Vermont, and it was like the Mountain Dew snowboard games or something. And it was like 10 degrees outside, snowing, and it was an outdoor stage like on the bottom of the mountain, like the snowboards were really coming down to like around where the stage was, and it wasn't like a huge, big, nice stage. It was, you could picture the stage.
Yeah.
It was just your normal little setup for an outdoor
Much like
show.
the Florida stage.
Yeah.
Tables. They're standing
It wasn't
on fold-up
tables. It was
Yeah.
decent, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. But the show went on, and we went out there. I remember we all had our pockets were just stuffed with hand warmers.
Oh, God.
And it was like we would just squeeze them as hard as we could until we could kind of feel your fingers, and then play and like just like smashing the strings with like
playing's
this
the worst.
frozen club of a hand. Just holy shit!
You're reminding
man.
me of something that happened at our local mountain, Bear Mountain. This was, 10 years ago. I'm up there snowboarding, and Big Mountain. I don't know if you guys remember the reggae band.
remember that.
Ooh, baby, I
Yeah,
love you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm at Bear Mountain. I'm snowboarding. It's dumping up there. It's freezing, and these dudes are on the deck playing just roots reggae.
Oh.
Trench coats, gloves. The guitar player had gloves. He cut the fingers off so that he could hold.
Yeah.
Just I can see the sunset in your eyes. Dumping rain, dude. Oh, it's like
Dude.
that's rough.
Dude, playing
and
guitar when it's
tumble.
cold is the worst. I played it like
That close.
15, 20 degrees in Tahoe one time, and like I have this one part of this one song. I was playing guitar for filling in for Tomorrow's Bad Seeds, and I did this
Okay.
shred guitar solo somewhere in the middle. I would
No.
not want to hear that thing back.
No.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
no.
Like the hammer-ons
Oh,
are just
yeah.
so slow and terrible.
Totally done.
Yeah.
I remember we were going out onto that show, and I was like, guys, only bar chords today.
even
That's
that,
it.
like,
Like,
oh,
that's all
yeah.
you're getting, dude.
Yeah.
No
Solos
noodling
aren't
going on out
happening.
there.
No.
That's funny. Straight bars.
Funny thing about snow, this as for sound guys, it's actually you can't. So the way that the faders on most digital consoles work, you actually have to use your fingertips because they sense the electricity coming off of your body for them to move. That way, if you like brush up against it and it's not your fingers, it doesn't move, right?
That makes sense.
So
Oh,
you
nice.
cannot wear gloves
Not
in
no
front of
more you know.
house. And I can't tell you how many times you're out in the middle of nowhere and it's cold as fuck. And at the end of the show, my hands are just like
Done.
They're done. You can't move them or anything. It's
No,
it's
it's
actually
crazy.
kind of crazy.
What we're saying is that musicians up there, they're heroes and they're brave, right, Duddy?
Oh yeah.
Sound guys are not though.
We're bringing that back from last
Last
week.
episode, that was one of the words that Jake was just like,
No more words.
Everybody nowadays is a hero. Everybody's brave.
It just, at this point in time, we're
Yeah.
50-50. You're non-essential or you're a frontline hero. There is simply no middle ground. We've got another question from Jesse Rules.
Z rules.
Jesse Z Rules. Just-
Jake once said his brain assigns colors to words and sounds. How does everyone else's brain register / file things? I don't get colors. My brain works in lines and squiggles, assigns to sounds and words.
I think we were talking about music one day, and I said like when I hear certain music, it's a color in my brain.
Yeah, that's
certain
Jared,
bands are
the
blue,
same.
and yeah.
Jared does that same thing.
So I think that's what she's saying. Like, do you guys, when you hear music, do you see a color that associates? She said she sees lines. I don't even, or you might not see
that's-
anything like that, but yeah.
I'm colorblind for starters.
I see
I
gray,
don't even know
no matter what I
see.
hear.
Yeah, I can't see red or green. So, I don't know.
And you're
I
wearing
think
black and gray. Is that because you're just like, fuck it, I'm
it's
not.
safe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there
Sometimes
you
my
go.
wife will just stop me before I leave the house and be like, no.
No salmon.
No,
Back in
let's
there.
try. I think I'm just such a music nerd that I'm listening more. I'm like, oh, harmonies and where are those horns sitting and where's the blah blah. Like, I don't see any specific color. I think I'm just more listening to mixes all the time.
Yeah.
I see the instruments.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if I'm listening, just if I'm listening specifically to a drums, I see the drums, and then if I'll listen to the guitars, I'll see the guitars, like the actual
See the fingers, doing the act.
moving.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But singers, I don't actually notice the singer. That's kind of weird, actually. Now that I think about it. How about
I
you,
focus
Duddy?
in on drummers a lot. Drummers and bass. But I always find
Yeah.
myself running along with the drums and bass and music.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
funny, but everyone picks out the little instrument
That's
that
really
they
interesting.
concentrate on.
There's a term for that, right? When you see colors and from sound.
I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure there is. I wish I could look it up.
I'm
for
sure
you.
there
I
is.
just
Yeah,
read
because
about
it's probably
that.
it's a pretty common thing.
Just saw it in like Rolling Stone or something. Billie Eilish. There's an actual word for it, and it's like
Yeah.
a very sciencey word, but they like associate words and everything with different colors and patterns and
Yeah.
It's
like,
just how we
everything.
associate.
Like,
Yeah.
not even just music. Like you can just
Just
see any
everything.
word. Yeah.
I definitely like patterns for sure. I'll see patterns, but not colors.
What, like Argyle or
Yeah, that's what I was thinking in my head.
I don't know.
The little anchor a bunch of times, like on pants.
No, not like that
I'm
type
just
of
kidding, dude.
pattern.
Oh no. Yeah, what type of pattern then? Now I'm interested. What
I don't
type?
know, like almost like graphed out, like
Oh yeah.
The ladders or something?
yeah, like
Ooh,
It's
you know
called synesthesia.
synesthesia. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Where you see.
Associating sounds with colors.
Associating-
Synesthesia.
Oh, well, I better start a
There you go.
5K for us.
There you
Nice.
go.
Yeah, raise some awareness.
He's a hero.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I
You're
like to
so
think that I'm brave.
brave.
Thank
You're
you very
brave.
much. Oh, for
You know
fuck's
what?
sake, dude. Listener questions. There was really only two. We like I said, this episode kind of came out of nowhere, so we didn't have a lot of time to put it out there, but great questions. And that will bring us to my absolute favorite thing ever now. It's time for a conspiracy query. Duddy, explain what this is.
this isn't. I didn't come up with this.
This is yours.
It's not mine.
Okay.
I just heard this, and I'm wondering if you guys believe in this thing. Okay, this isn't a theory. This is a query. This is a conspiracy query.
You're not saying, I theorize that. You're saying, I heard this.
I heard this.
What do you
What
think?
and I'm just wondering, do you believe in conspiracy queries? So, this is what we heard, that this is the first phase of the
Corona. Corona is the
Corona
first-
is the first phase of robots taking over, like electronics, computers taking over the world, right? They get us all inside. They separate us. No more human contact. Everyone get on your electronics. We're going to put out all these new things for you to watch and play and do on your electronics. First phase, robots taking over the earth.
Yes.
This is first phase.
That
I'm not
is a-
saying that.
I know you're not.
Oh, yeah. How
I-
wait, Duddy, it sounded like you said it, though. Is this your theory?
I spoke it.
Okay.
Yes.
But just
Okay.
because I heard it, and
Ah.
I'm wondering, do you believe in the robots taking over the earth?
I do believe in robots potentially taking over the earth. It seems logical, but I like this too. And I heard like Joe Rogan said this on a recent show of his, and he just I think said that he heard it somewhere. So I don't know. He didn't source it, but it's a cool thought, and it actually you can make it make sense pretty easily. We are separating each other for the most part. People are wearing masks, so identity. Individual identity is becoming less. Who cares? You have a mask on when you're in
Yep.
stores. You're not seeing
Yep.
anyone anyway. People don't want to get near each other. Ooh, gross. Humans are gross, but we're just absolutely obsessed with our electronics at this point because it's allowing us to listen to this show. It's allowing us to listen to another take and watch the Dirty Heads live stream. Could it be? What do you guys think?
I think that's partially true. I don't think the compute. Well, so the idea though. Hold on, just so I'm clear.
Yeah.
The computer is responsible. That's
For
that's not what you're saying, but that's what someone's saying.
That
Yes.
I don't think this is like
This
know
is the
the
robots.
government is having the robots take over. I think it's the robots,
robots are
The
taking
robots
over.
created this virus, I suppose. Again, Duddy and I do little to no research.
I literally heard this
Yeah.
5 minutes before this episode, asked no questions about it.
Did
Okay.
not dig, but that's why we put it
What's
out
your
to
thoughts?
you.
I don't buy it. And first
No.
off, because of the mask part, because my phone doesn't even recognize my face when my mask is on. So how they?
Oh, wow. Did you find a nice little nugget? Because that's
Yeah.
true, because my little
Wow.
face recognition, every time I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn it.
If anything, it's helping us defend ourselves.
My
against
face
the
recognition
technology.
Wow.
broke like a year ago. I've had to use a passcode, so I wouldn't have
You're
noticed
used
that.
to it then.
Well, maybe the robots weren't expecting humans to be like, put masks on.
Those
They're
dumb
like,
robots.
They're like, the robots
They
are
actually
like,
did it.
stupid humans will never know to put a mask on.
Oh, I can just imagine how pissed off the fucking robots
Oh
are
my
right now. Just
God.
how could they outcompute me? How did they not see this?
Doesn't this counteract? It counteracts other conspiracy theories where people think that you have to be where people are putting cameras everywhere to track your movements because now they can't track your face anymore.
Holy shit! It backfired on the dumb
On the-
robots.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you
And
dummies!
and
why would I
everybody.
program myself to feel sad?
Yeah, no, I know. A little digital tear. Oh, digi tears just malfunction. Well, fucking thank God we brought that one up
Dude,
because you
yeah.
found a nice little nugget of loopholedness, and now we get to make fun of those dumb robots.
Stupid
Oh
robots.
my God! And they think they're so smart.
Dude, they do.
We know everything.
Screw me in my bolt hole.
Oh, Duddy just burned the entire. Fuck you, robots! Who knew, dude? A piece of paper over your mouth and done, dude. Robot
Dude.
revolution
Debunked.
over with, dude. That just took a shit on the entire Terminator franchise, worse than the last movie they put out.
Oh,
Oh, for piss sake! Are we saying things on the show? All right, Duddy. Do you think that are we good with this one? You want to wrap it up?
yeah, I'm just wondering, do you believe in the robots taking over the earth?
Dude, I used to. Not anymore. Not with the old face masks.
Fuck you,
All right,
robots.
that was a fucking awesome one.
was good.
Thank God for that segment. Thank Robot God for that. And then let's get right into such a flowery, positive part of the show. Let's get into our tip of the day. And Mike, you have a tip for us, I believe, today, right? Something
do.
for the listeners to feel good.
Yeah, to help you feel good in the morning.
You got it.
When I wake up recently, I used to be the habitual look at your phone first thing in the morning, like not even get out of bed and you're looking at your phone. So I've replaced that exercise with just getting up, opening the blinds, and looking at the sun. My room faces west or east, so when I wake up, the sun is rising, and I just sit there and I bathe in the sunlight, and it keeps me away from my phone for a solid 25, 30 minutes at the least, sometimes longer. And I saw my screen time actually went down last week for the first time ever. And I think that has helped me feel much better and has helped me feel
I
good.
love that.
That's such an easy one.
I'm
It's
gonna
really
Everyone
easy.
can
start
do
that
it.
tomorrow for sure because I can't fucking lie. I wake up and within a minute or two, I
Straight
just
to
reach
it.
over just to see okay who's texted me, what's what's going on, and I'm not like immediately going into social media mode, but I'm immediately into like responding and looking at emails and all that, and it's like I should not do that
No.
fucking right away.
No, it helps me clear my head. And like, even when my kids wake me up early and the sun's not up, I'll just avoid it. And then when the sun, because my kids get up fucking early, when the sun does get up, I'll take the kids over and be like, all right, guys, let's just hang out, check out the sunrise, and it just helps me out immediately. So,
Keep them off the cartoons
Yeah.
for an extra
Yep,
whatever
yep.
minutes.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great one.
I
Yeah.
love that. And I bet that helps the kids too. And then at the end of the day, if the kids are feeling better, they're going to be nicer the rest of the day. And that's going to make you feel better. And
Much
then you're
better.
going to be nice to your wife. And then everyone in your house is going to be happy. And that probably
Here it
feels good.
Oh, there it is. He landed it. I warned you guys about the segue, and then you saw it and you had to deal with it. That was a good one. It's a
Thanks,
fast-moving river.
I didn't know where I was going. I just closed my eyes and let it take me.
Well, yeah. Don't stop the flow.
Well, speaking of feeling good, on this podcast, we do have some sponsors that make us feel great. And one of those sponsors is Koi. Koi CBD is an amazing company and amazing product. I use it every single day. You guys know the routine. I got this big old bottle, 1,500 milligram with a spray capper on it. I wake up and just like 10 of them under my tongue. I hold it there for 20 seconds. And then right after 20 seconds, when that goes down, I chase it with my 1,000 milligram inhaler.
What's your favorite dinosaur sound?
This one.
What's a drone sound like? Hell yeah.
Oh man, that's right. Koi CBD, amazing product, amazing company. And right now they're doing something super cool. They have hand sanitizer, and every ounce of hand sanitizer they sell, they are matching that amount and passing it out to first responders and hospitals all through Southern California. That's right. You heard it here. KoiCBD.com. Put in code DuddyB at checkout. You get 20% off.
Fwah, fwah.
Yeah, and also Onnit, another amazing company. That's Onnit with two N's, ONNIT.com. This company has so many amazing products. Whatever you're into, whatever you're looking for, they got it for sure. If you're working out and you need protein, if you need any sort of supplements, they got it. Me personally, I love the Alpha Brain. I take it every day. I've been taking it for like 7 months now, and I definitely tell a difference in just my sharpness and my memory. And also, I love right now the New Mood. I take it in the afternoon about 5. It's not a sleeping pill. It doesn't put you to sleep, but it does relax you at the end of the day. And then when I do fall asleep, I sleep like a little baby all through the night. So go to onnit.com, ONNIT.com/Duddy. You can get 10% off your order.
Get on it.
You heard it here, people.
Damn. Nicely done. You heard it here, people. Oh, just the exhaustion. Oh, fucking good Lord. All right. So this is a swap cast, right? And so we want to kind of involve some segments that the boys from Another Take would do on their show. Their show is kind of music driven. So we're going to hand it over to Jeff and Mike and let you guys kind of do the question asking of Duddy and I for a hot second here.
Cool.
Take
Okay.
it away, fellas.
So one of the questions we ask pretty much all of our guests is, what was the very first album that you remember purchasing with your own money? And what's the story behind that? And how did it influence you?
Duddy, you want to take it?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually talked about this on one of our songs, Believe, and it's like, I can't never quite forget the first tape you bought. Mine was Naughty by Nature back when OPP was hot. And I remember getting that cassette. I remember being in, and I think it was Sam Goody.
Yep.
Was that over there by that, by like the Philly cheesesteak place, right? Sam Goody. That was that one, right?
Yes, it was the
by
record
Manja
spot.
Manja and shit.
Absolutely.
That's right.
These are all local spot people.
Yeah.
Are like, Manja, fucking.
Well, I'm
Yes.
just making sure because I'm like, I remember going in there and like it was on the shelf. I was looking at all the, and I remember I fucking bought the cassette and listened to it. And I remember I was at that age where you're very like trying to be cool and like you don't know who you are yet. Really, I was young. I don't even know, 12 or 13. Maybe?
Yeah, I'm trying to like place the
Probably
time.
even
I mean,
younger.
but I remember you listening to the
Like
shit
11
out of this
maybe,
tape.
like 11,
You
I
had
don't
to
know.
be, yeah.
Hold on. Was
Younger
it the cassette?
than that, dude. I'm talking Duddy's
It
like
was the cassette.
It was the
Yeah.
cassette?
Yeah, cassette tape.
Cassette.
Duddy's like
Not
8
the
years
CD.
old.
I
Dude,
think
I'm
it was like in the 90s, like I think that album came out like early, like 92, 93. So I think I was like 11 years
Okay,
old or something like
okay.
that. And I remember I just loved it. It was just like hip hop, and I hadn't really heard much like that. And like I remember at that time, I thought it was super cool because they like cursed.
And Naughty by Nature was one of the
And it was
first
like- I was like,
mainstream hip
fuck
hop
yeah.
things that was street level.
Yeah, it
like
was
everything was a little more, hey, mother, hip, hip, hip,
Yeah.
baby, boo. And then all of a sudden they're like saying real shit.
Yeah.
And their music video, they looked kind of gnarly. Remember, they had
Yep,
dope
yep.
jackets on. It looked cold. They're in
Yep.
New York. And like, yeah, what
So
the
yeah, I
fuck?
remember that. And then
Yep.
I mean, definitely, I was into bits of hip hop before that, but it was probably like mostly like MC Hammer and Vanilla
Yep.
Ice and whatever. And
Our
then
first
like
concert.
Yeah, my first concert was
MC
MC
Hammer.
Hammer. That's fucking right. But
Yep.
like about 11 years old or whatever, I bought that cassette. And I don't even remember exactly why I bought that cassette, but maybe because I heard OPP. It was
OPP.
probably on like MTV Jams or
Yeah.
something, or Power on what was that, at 9 o'clock at night on Power? What was that called?
The High Five at 9.
High Five at 9. I probably heard it on there or something when I was in there. I was like, oh, that's that song. And I bought it. And I remember I was just like, I played the fuck out of that tape.
Dude, so you just tapped on something too.
Yeah.
Because Duddy and I are, dude, I'm 40 years old. and Duddy's 38. You got to be. You're only 2 years behind me. So young Duddy and I, we're from an era where there was absolutely no internet. If you heard a song on the radio, or were lucky enough that they had a video that was on MTV or whatever, you had to then wait around until the radio would play that song again. And Duddy and I remember we had a tape player, and you'd sit there and you'd hear the first few bars of that song that you love, and you're like, oh shit, we'd run over, boom,
Bam!
and hit record. Slam, dude. That was the only way you would get a copy of that song until you were able to buy the album. And if you're a kid, you can't just go buy every album you want.
Yep.
So, and the High Five at 9 on our local like hip hop station, Power 106, that was the thing. You're like, well, we know that OPP is going to be number 1 on the High Five at 9. It's the dopest song out. So you'd sit there and wait with the recorder ready, you know what I mean? And I'm glad that we came from that. That's a cool ass question too, because it brings us back to that time. I remember Duddy listening to that song over and over, and he loved it. And, you know, we graduated from kind of the fun hip hop into the like more East Coast and grimy hip hop. That was the first shift that went over to East Coast, because I feel like there was Naughty by Nature, and then there was oh my god, like Tribe Called Quest would come out after that, and then Wu-Tang slowly follows, and then hip hop shifts back to the, you know, it goes back and forth west to east and west. I don't know. Hip hop now just seems like a thing, right? There is no more west and east. I'm not sure. I'm out of it now.
I don't think it's as much.
I think it still is semi-segregated. Well, not segregated, but
like
separate.
The sound is very different.
Yeah,
on each
like
coast.
you can people definitely identify with like Houston hip hop, like that South, like the dirty South hip hop is definitely a thing.
When I remember when that came,
you know,
through,
so
Mike Jones and shit.
I don't think it's as identifiable, especially with like trap beats. It seems like every pop song now has a trap beat.
Well,
right?
I mean, a lot of hip hop is now like pop.
Pop. Yeah.
So it's just kind of
just making hits. Wham, dude, hit machine.
Yeah.
Dude, we came from a real cool era with that, where there was actually an actual
diverse,
gnarly beef and a wild difference between the two coasts of like.
You could tell immediately.
Oh, immediately. And it would be like, everyone's loving West Coast right now, and then it would shift over to, that's the old shit. East Coast, now all that stuff's loved and almost thought of on the same plane. But
did you guys watch that?
I remember feeling that divide.
Have you watched that Netflix show on the history of hip hop? I can't think of the name of it right now.
I've seen the thing, but I haven't watched it.
It's fucking awesome.
Does it go into depth?
It goes real deep. It goes back to the 70s when like dudes in New York were just DJs literally, and they'd come up with their own beats and make like actually mixes on the fly, and like that was the sound of that era and how hip hop began. If you haven't done that, like, or haven't watched it, it's definitely worth a dive. I think they have like 3 seasons out. I watched the first 2.
Evolution of hip hop.
Evolution
I
of
believe
hip-hop.
it's called
That's
that.
it.
Oh, okay,
Dude,
It's
and I'm so
awesome.
glad I haven't now, because I'm like, I have a whole show to watch now.
Yeah. No, it's really good. And
That's awesome.
it goes really far back, and then they kind of talk about the West Coast and the East Coast and how like in the early 90s, and then it really, for me, it took like, okay, this is why Dr. Dre was so prolific. This is why, you know, the West Coast hip hop, when it came out, it was like, what the fuck is this? Because the New York hip hop was like the establishment, and West Coast was like this other beast that kind of came out of, you know, the origin.
But
anyway,
folks, they both needed each other. You know, without the competition, like
you
had to
like
one up everyone. As a
the
result,
Beatles,
everyone got
they
to
made
benefit.
each other
and the Beach
famous.
Boys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Beatles and Beach Boys.
Beatles and the Beach Boys.
Yeah, they almost needed each other to keep one upping.
Yeah.
And we all got to benefit.
They were
Yeah,
Batman
for
and the
sure.
Joker, man. Just they fucking need each other.
They do.
Totally.
Keep
What was
it
the
going.
police
What
needs
was
the
your
bad
first
guy.
album?
My first album that I ever bought was oh my god, Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream. That was I remember the first album that I asked for, like for a gift, and that was Bad Religion, Recipe for Hate, and I always thought that this was hilarious because my grandma bought it for me. So I remember when I got it, I unwrapped it. It's like from grandma,
it was
and it's Bad
Christmas,
Religion, Bad Religion, Recipe for Hate. Yeah, my Jewish grandmother, because Duddy and I, although our family was like Jewish, our immediate family, my mom and our parents weren't super religious, so we would celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah, but a lot of our family is just straight up Jewish. So my Jewish grandmother like walked into a Sam Goody probably, which was the record store back then.
my God.
I would like Bad Religion, Recipe for Hate, and she bought that for me for Christmas. So
man.
that's amazing. But the first album I ever walked into Sam Goody with, and I had a gift certificate, and I bought Siamese Dream, Smashing Pumpkins, and I love that to this day. And
Yeah.
that's affected me because that's the first like breathy singer that I ever heard. You know, it sounds like he's fucking whispering.
Yeah.
I love that shit to this day. Half the bands I listen to are whispering their lyrics, and I'm like, yeah, you know. I still love that type of thing, like the Sonic Youth and just the
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
So that affected me big time because I remember hearing his voice and that first song, "Let Me Out." I don't know the name of the song, but that's the lyrics, and I just remember going like, "What's this sound?" I didn't know you could
Right.
whisper sing, and I loved it from
Dude,
from day
speaking
one.
of Smashing Pumpkins, is this just a fucking impromptu? Do you believe in conspiracy queries?
Is there a quick?
Oh,
I
I
know
know
what
what
you're
Like,
gonna
is he
say.
like the young boy in Small Wonder
Yes.
or some bullshit
Oh,
like
I
that?
was gonna go a different way with it.
Oh,
Do you know another one about him?
Corgan? Yeah, he like. I hope this is true. I really, really do. But he believes
Hey,
that
it's
there
just
are
a
lizard
query.
people that walk among us.
lizard
does he?
people.
Oh.
Reptilian.
Yeah.
You've heard this,
That's a
right?
thing.
He's
Talks
not
about
alone,
it.
man.
That's
He
a
is not
thing.
alone.
That's a full thing.
That's a query.
Yeah,
What
that
they
is
say,
a
like
query.
George Bush or the Bushes are reptilians, the Clintons
Clintons
are
are reptilians.
reptilians,
People that
right?
live among us.
Yes.
That's like that movie with the Obey stuff. What's that movie from the '80s with Rowdy Piper and you know the
Oh,
movie?
yeah,
They
yeah.
Live. It's called They Live.
Yeah.
I love that. I like. Look, dude, Duddy and I, you know, I've famously made fun of Bigfoot. I always bring it up and attach famously to it, even though only 7 people saw the clip. I famously make fun of Bigfoot and people who say they see aliens. I want it all to be true, and I love it, and I love this. So, what's Billy? So the lizard people one I love because so many people believe it.
Yeah, that's all I know. My buddy sent me the article with like the laughing face underneath, and I read it, and he like firmly believes that there are lizard or
Yeah.
reptilian people that are
Yeah.
living among us.
I think it has something to
As
do
one
with
of us.
Illuminati stuff, right? Like Jay-Z believes in that. A lot of.
That's.
But isn't Jay-Z part of the Illuminati?
I don't know. Is that we're just saying
Do you
things.
believe that
Now we are
Jesus
just-
is in the Illuminati?
I hope it's all just one big joke.
Or I hope everyone just rips off their head and their lizards, and I'll be like,
Yeah.
sweet.
Oh,
Can
dude.
we
That's even better.
put them back on?
Oh,
Can we just
dude.
keep? Oh, dude. Yeah, that was an impromptu. Did you believe? Finish it up for us, Doug?
I just
Yeah.
said it. Do you believe that Jesus is in the Illuminati and there's lizard people walking around?
I just wanted you to say it again, dude. Oh shit.
Oh,
So all right, cool. First albums led into some fun shit. Who knew? Who
Yeah.
thought it would lead to lizard people? But
Yeah.
Billy Corgan.
See, told you. You just have no idea where you're gonna go with it.
Yeah, you're right.
Let me out. That's what made me think.
yeah. But you know,
Ah.
it's funny because you said that about the Recipe for Hate. Because honestly, to this day, whenever I hear that Bad Religion Recipe for Hate album, it reminds me of fucking Christmas.
Yeah.
That's hilarious that Bad Religion reminds you of Christmas.
It does because I remember you got that, and I remember we listened
Exactly
to
what they
we
didn't
listened
want.
the shit out of that fucking.
Oh,
that was I
dude.
think was that cassette? That was CD.
That was a CD.
That
yes.
was CD.
CD, and I believe I feel like when I bought Siamese Dream, I feel like that was CD as well. You know, so I remember my first things being I think I got CDs. But real quick too, the way I found out about Bad Religion as a band, Duddy and I played baseball when we were younger, and I was playing. I was just taking some fly balls in outfield for practice, wearing my shorts. It was practice. It was the summer. I dove for a fly ball. Got stung by a bee, and I remember I was like, oh, you know, I got up, there's a bee hanging out of my knee. I just remember this day, and I wiped the bee off, and there's a cassette tape sitting on the ground. It was Bad Religion Generator.
No way.
So that was the first thing I ever heard from Bad Religion, and I picked it up because the tape was in there, and I'm like, I got a tape player. I remember I put it in Dad's
Do you think
truck.
it was the Bees cassette?
It was the bee's cassette, dude. I killed the bee.
You just killed him. And
I
took his
killed
cassette.
the bee. This was my first robbery. Robber bee is what it was. I dove, I killed a bee, but the bee stung me, so I think that's fair and square. And then I took his Bad Religion Generator tape, popped it into Dad's truck on the way home, and you were in the truck too.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, whoa, what the fuck is this music?
Yeah.
You know, it's like so fast. And that's why I bought Recipe for Hate,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I like punk now, you know? Okay. Should we take this in another? We got lizard people. I killed a bee and stole his tape. We got to steal your guys' bit, dude. We're asking everybody their first album from now
That's
on,
why we
dude.
ask it. It always goes
We'll
to
call
more
it the
fun.
Another Take first
That is
CD.
funny.
Yeah, perfect.
Hell yeah.
We're also wondering. So obviously, Duddy, you and I did the Roman Duddy tour together, and one of my favorite parts of that show every night was hearing you tell stories, both of you, because one, it was things that I didn't know, and for context, you guys would do like 30 minutes each, and then you do another like you do 30 minutes, and you talk about the songs that you were gonna play,
Yeah.
in a way that you don't normally, hear or in an experience you don't get at a normal like Dirty Heads concert. And you mentioned that you and Rome got together from, or had the idea from a tour bus. Is that right? Like, how did you guys come up with the idea of working together?
Well, obviously we've been friends for a long time, and we've worked with each other quite a bit, toured with each other many times, and something I've always kind of wanted to do was like a solo acoustic-y album, because I write songs all the time that just they're not for the Dirty Heads,
Right.
And I'll show it to them, and the guys will be like, "Yeah, cool,
Yeah.
this is great. Yeah, you're a pussy."
You should do that with Rome.
So I have this other side I really like to write, and I've always just in the back of my head been like, oh, one day I'll put out like a solo acoustic album with all these songs that I've written that I've never released. And Cheese, our manager, we've talked about it many times, and then same with Rome. Rome also likes to do his solo albums, and we got together and we just started kind of rapping out about the idea of going out and doing an acoustic tour, but not playing together, just he do his set, I do mine, and we just go do like some shows. But then we got together, and just for fun, we were like, oh, well, we should like learn a cover or something to play together, like at the very end of the set. And we did that Van Morrison cover, Stone Me, and we put it out, and everyone just loved it so much, and we had so much fun just recording it. We were like, well, let's just do a few more of these, and then it just kind of kept snowballing into like, well, let's not even do a solo thing. Let's just do an album together. So that was the whole plan. Obviously, this Corona quarantine has really put a halt to that. But we were planning on, right when we got home from that tour, we were planning on getting in the studio and knocking out like a full album.
Right. It was a really fun tour. Like from my vantage point, I thought that the way you guys interacted with the crowd and the feedback that you got from the crowd every night, I didn't know what to expect going into
Me
it.
neither. It was terrifying sometimes.
Was it?
Well, like I've never been where like that big of a crowd, like full setup, stage,
Right.
lights and everything, and then it's just you and an acoustic.
So it's just you didn't have a backing band or anything?
No, nothing.
No.
And so it was like your set, his set, someone did a set, and then you did a set
Together. And we closed out and
But
played
you guys were
like
both just solo when you were doing it by yourselves. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I can
Yeah.
see when you're used to having a full band behind you. And then
yeah,
just-
yeah. And
you're
I've done
butt
like
naked up there basically. With
I've done acoustic things before, but for like 50 people,
Right,
dispensary
yeah.
things or just like whatever it was. Like I've done acoustic things before, but that's just different when you're like some of these were like theaters, and there was quite a bit of people there, and then you're like, fuck, the lights all dimmed down, and you're like,
Just me and an
Yeah.
acoustic.
And it was like, it was also very, like, people were seated,
oh, seated and dead silent.
dead silent. It was like it was unlike anything I'd ever done. It was like going to a theater almost, where you're just like, if someone was talking, people would turn their heads like, hey, motherfucker, shut up. Like, I think I counted 2 times where someone actively was asked to be quiet by an usher or a member of security because they could tell like people were complaining. They were like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, shut up! Like, we're trying to listen to Duddy and Rome talk and sing." And it was a really cool show.
I mean, when we were singing and playing the songs, especially, like if I would play like a popular Dirty Head song or something, they would know. Like they'd be
Sing.
dancing around and
Yeah,
singing,
yeah.
and it was great. But in between, like Mike was saying, is like it was 50-50 with storytelling and the song. So when we were telling the stories and talking, like most of the people they really wanted to
They
hear
the story. Yeah, it was really cool.
And then you'd get like, which is always, and it happens. It's not like it's a big deal, but you got someone who maybe had a few too many drinks and I get it, man. It's their fucking night out and they got a babysitter for the kids and they were going to a concert and they rolled in and it's like, oh, it's like quiet time concert.
Like I was ready to roast some guys.
You get the fucking go to play a song. You're like, I will, let me finish my story.
Oh, one of those, yeah. And you were like, hey, and you don't
I
want to
start
boot
shouting
anyone
out
out.
at
It's not
you.
that,
Yeah.
dude. You know what I love though is that obviously you guys did a good job of presenting to everybody what they were in store for. So people came going like, this is a campfire scenario. We're getting
Yeah.
to sit here with Rome and Duddy and hang out,
Yeah.
like as if they were at their house writing these songs. And that is a fucking special thing. That's so different from how they've ever
Totally.
seen the Dirty Heads or you. So
They've seen us play. They've heard those songs live. They've heard them with the full band. They've heard us do like the full band acoustic. They've heard that, So it's like okay, so yes, they're gonna hear me now play it just stripped down solo by myself, but it's like, okay, what can you do to make it special? Let's explain to them the story behind the songs, the band, and what it means. And I think people really dug that.
Yeah.
It is, and you guys will obviously do that again
we
when
can't
this
wait.
fires up. And
Yeah.
that reminds me of a moment, so I'll quickly talk about, because it can almost be more powerful sometimes when it's just a person and an acoustic.
Totally.
It's so intimate, right? So I was at Weenie Roast, is a huge local show that K-Rock, our big local station, puts on every year. Dirty Heads have played it multiple times. It's in the summer. It's at like a 15,000 person outdoor arena down here in Orange County. One year I went to Weenie Roast and there was all these bands performing. K-Rock always has a secret artist. It's like, second or third from the headlining artist. They'll put like an act. We've got a secret act. You guys don't know who it'll be. Well, I had just got done watching Rob Zombie play in a huge band, sounds big, kicked fucking ass. The sun is now going down and they're all, here's the secret act. And how it works at Irvine Meadows where this is the stage spins around and then the act you were just watching spins into the background and the stage reveals the next act. Well, the stage spins around and it is just Dave Grohl standing in the middle of the stage, and then he walks forward, picks up an acoustic, puts it on, no chair, nothing. He stands there and plays Foo Fighter songs, plays like
Acoustic.
6 Foo Fighter songs, and dude, it was just him. It was absolutely the biggest moment of the night. I had goosebumps and chills, which I actually did, and that never happens to me. The sun was going down, and I remember watching, going, that is a dude holding a plank of wood, standing on that, and there's 15,000 people singing every single word. He stole the night, dude, and it was a guy and a guitar.
That's
nothing
awesome.
else.
Yeah.
So it is a pretty special thing, and everybody
Totally.
should just, obviously, everybody go back and see that when
I got
it's
secondhand
available again.
goosebumps when you're talking.
Yeah, dude, it was a
It's still
rad
inspiring,
moment. Yeah.
One of the cool things too about that tour, and I think we've talked about it on this show before, but like the backstage was wild because you got to think like normally you've got like say 4 bands. Okay,
Yeah.
so just with the band members alone in 4 bands, let's say you maybe have close to 20 people, and then each of those bands has crews. Who knows? Let's just say on your average, like let's on our summer tour. What was it, Jake? We had 100 people
Yeah, it was
touring
like
with us.
98
We had
people on that tour.
98 people on the tour
Insanity.
with us. This Roman Duddy tour, we all just shared one crew, and there was no backline. It was acoustic guitars. It was not. Our whole entire tour was 8 people.
Yeah. It was awesome.
And then,
For
like,
me, it was so awesome.
in the daytime too, like right when we get to the venue, and like the crew would go to like they got work to do right when we get there. That leaves 3 of us.
Yeah.
Me, Rome, and Micah. It was it. We each had our own dressing room. We'd be like,
Yeah.
"What are you doing over there? I'm
Yeah.
lonely." Like, it was
That
crazy.
does sound,
It was ghost
that
town.
sounds nice.
I mean, you go in there was multiple times I would go into that backstage, and I would be the only fucking person in the entire backstage.
And then you really know if someone doesn't belong there.
Then
There?
you're like,
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, what?
Oh yeah.
There's only 7 of us, dude, and you're not one of them. Who are you?
That was a fun tour for me because it was like equally challenging and relaxing, if that makes sense, because I worked pretty hard. I don't normally set up my own audio console. I don't normally take care
brought
of
the whole
stage.
thing.
Oh yeah, I brought a desk and I brought wedges and then on top of it I'm a tour manager with Sublime with Rome on our summer tours. If I'm carrying audio and I'm not just using what's at the venue, I have a guy to set up my front of house. I have a monitor engineer and a monitor tech to set up the monitors and all of that and all the mics and everything. I have all my backline techs. And I also have a road manager who takes care of hospitality and everything. So like 3 jobs that I normally don't have to do, I had to do on the tour, but it was somehow still really relaxing because the vibe of the tour, just having 8 people, was just like, it was super fun.
It
you
was
know?
it was fucking awesome.
And-
It was very relaxing.
And once we got in a rhythm too, I think that's the part that killed the most about the end of it was everyone was in a rhythm. Everyone felt really good. Everyone was happy and enjoying themselves. And then it was just like, and it's gone.
Totally. And see you later.
And that's another cool thing too that maybe not everyone would know if I've only been on tours as like my band was opener for some big tours, but I've mainly been like a fly on the wall for Duddy's touring across the nation. So that's how I've seen big tours from behind the scenes. And it is funny how the first good week, maybe even a little longer than a week of a tour, it's a lot of franticness backstage. Like people are figuring out their role, and there's so much to do every day, and it becomes a rinse and repeat of what you have to do every day, but the venue changes, the layout changes. So the first 7 or 8 shows of a tour, yeah, people are like hustling and looking down, and then you're right, like about, a few weeks in, everyone knows their job. Everyone knows who's who. You become comfortable. There's inside jokes, and then the tour's just sailing.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, you're like hugging everybody. Oh, I miss, it's gonna suck not seeing you.
Yep.
So you guys got right into that pocket where you're like, we're kicking fucking ass, and then Rona comes in and just says,
Nope.
"Whap!
Yeah, the
get
computers.
out of here."
Damn
Yeah.
robots.
Fucking robots.
Goddamn stupid dumb robots though, dude.
Idiots, dude.
It's just a mask over the face, and you have nothing at that. You have the thumbprint.
Fuck.
Put on a glove, which we're supposed to do anyway for Rona.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you dumb idiot. How did you not calculate? That's like 3 steps from your plan. You're like, we do this and everyone's indoors. And then you're spitballing and one of the robots has he's writing on the board. Some of the robots aren't paying attention like everywhere. And then someone would raise their hand and go, but won't people probably put something over their face? And that's like, you should get there in 3 to 7 minutes of robot chatting about this and just calculating. Some dumb robots out there. I thought they were all smart. The next wave of robots will get us. These ones are learning and they're
Too
dumb.
busy upgrading their hard drives.
They're so stupid. Oh, shit. But anyway, so this leads us perfectly. You guys had the crazy tour. You started sailing. Rona said no more. This brings us into a segment that we do on our show that I know you have something prepared for, Mike. Band camp. You probably have 75,000 crazy band stories being a tour manager for all these nutty bands. And you've played in bands as well, so you guys might both have. What's a band camp story for you guys?
You want to go first? Or do you-
Yeah.
yeah.
First one that comes to mind is just kind of a crazy story. The band I was in, this was like 8-10 years ago. We had this terrible fucking Winnebago. Like the thing, we got it cheap, $3,500 based on the interior. Not what was under the hood. Like blue 3 alternators.
Yep.
The thing, like if we were going uphill, sometimes it would go down to 8 miles an hour on the freeway. Like that bad. So we're driving up to San Luis Obispo from LA, and we have to take the 1 because there's no hills. But it had rained a lot, so a lot of the roadway had washed out. So they divert you up Malibu Canyon, which is basically like, 10, 17 miles straight uphill. So a bunch of guys are sleeping in the back. We make it about halfway up. My buddy and singer Tony is driving. All of a sudden, the whole thing just shuts off on a huge incline.
Oh,
and he
no.
goes, "We lost brakes. Fucking bail." And I'm running out the side of the door, running along, trying to open the side to let everyone out of the back, which is locked. Everyone's sleeping. I'm banging on the thing.
Oh,
it finally gets like
no.
up to the edge of a cliff, like big cliff.
It's
Far.
about to
And
go
it-
down.
He jockeys it into park, and the thing just like stops right there. And then we got out and had to set up a flare and divert traffic, and we got towed down to. Everyone's like freaking out, like we didn't know what to do, like terrified, almost killed like all 6 of us.
Oh, my
So we get
God.
towed to the bottom of the hill to like a flat part, and we're like, fuck it, we just kept driving and made our way up to San Luis Obispo.
That's the shit we
Yeah.
always talk about is the crap that you don't like that people don't see what some bands go
horrifying.
through to make it to the show. And
Yeah.
sometimes you go through all of that. Like I remember we talked about it. Like there's so many times that we've gone through. I don't think we've ever had something that scary, but we've had some pretty scary things that we've had to drive through with the Dirty Heads or just over fucking mountain ranges in the snow like all night to get to a show where there's like 4 people at it, you know?
Oh yeah.
And you're making like $50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But you get the free drinks and you're like,
And you fucking
fuck.
party and you have a
drink
great
tickets,
time
yeah.
the whole time. And you enjoy the fuck out of yourself. Like,
I remember driving. Funny thing is, I shared a band camp several episodes back. People can find it, but it was a very similar story. My band, brakes went out coming down from Lake Tahoe, the mountain, and we had to pull over, parking brake, drag it into the side, got towed down.
it's chaos.
But we were at least going head first. I can only imagine
Just were rolling
backwards. You're in a Winnebago. Horrifying
backwards,
shit.
that's terrifying.
That is,
That's-
I don't even
Yeah,
know
like,
what
the wheel
that's
locks
about.
Up, you know, like the whole thing just shut off and it just free fall.
I have
Horrifying
anxiety.
shit. I have anxiety thinking about that.
Where's my CBD?
With how do you do it, Daddy? I don't know. How to, it's just such a realistic
pretty
sound
accurate,
effect.
dude,
It's
you know?
such a
I gotta
realistic
give it to
sound
you.
effect.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
no, he's great at it. I mean, the Dirty Heads have gotten. You guys got hit. I remember seeing something.
Oh, we got
Your
we got
trailer got all
rear-ended.
fucked up. Yeah,
we
yeah.
got rear-ended. The trailer fucking
Scared the
it
shit
saved
out of me when
our
I saw
lives,
that.
but it was. This was a long time ago. This was Van Days. Like I think this was like right when Lay Me Down hit, and Rome was on tour with us, and he was sleeping in the back of the van too. So it's like if Like if that trailer wasn't there, he was dead. Cause we were like dead stop traffic on the freeway, and an old lady just didn't even stop, just right into the trailer, no brakes, nothing, just wham, and I remember I was driving, and it was like boom, and it was like a nice nudge, like we rocked forward enough to where we knew like, holy shit, did someone just hit us? But man, that trailer, because there's that gap of like a few feet, that gap was gone. The trailer was now touching the van, and the van like kind of got a little messed up, but not much. And Rome was right on the other side of that door.
Sleeping there.
Yeah, and there's only like a couple
he
inches
would have
between.
been smashed. Done.
He was saved by the merch.
Saved by the fucking merch and shit.
Last summer tour on Sublime with Rome, Rome's bus got sideswiped on the freeway.
Oof.
Oh shit.
God has his fear.
Thankfully, like it was just like I can't remember the circumstances. The bus driver told me, but he was so fucking furious that he couldn't really put it into words what had happened. But essentially, I think he was just cruising down the highway, and someone had tried to like turn in and didn't even see and it was at the back end of the bus too, and didn't see the bus and just fucking went poof, right into the side of it. And like we couldn't stop and get it repaired, so that the bus had a dent in one of the bay doors. Like, Rome, thankfully, I think they slept through it. They didn't even feel it.
Wow.
Which is really
The
amazing
bus is
thing.
a funky thing to sleep in too, because you can sleep like a baby in a bus because you're in this little cocoon. But there's also when the driver hits the little bumps on the side, just you're sitting there going,
Yeah.
fuck.
Oh, God.
And if it happens a few times in a night, you're like, do I go up there and
Yeah.
ask if everything's okay? And you hear every little rattle, every little movement. It's a funky thing. You feel like you're on like a torpedo just sailing
Yeah.
through the nation.
Yeah.
Oh, the bus.
Yeah.
But you can't complain about a bus. It's got
No,
cable. It's got
you
TV.
can't.
Oh, I'll never forget the first time the Dirty Heads got on a bus and I stepped into a bus. They're like, dude, we got a bus, and I like walked into it. And I'm like, holy shit, this is a good way to tour. Beds and TVs. What
It definitely
the
made
fuck?
a big difference.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, it's a crazy cool thing. Bandcamp. So you say you have a Bandcamp as well, Jeff?
Oh no, I
No,
do.
that
Oh, I'm
was
sorry,
Jeff's.
Mike.
Mike's
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. So mine's a little different in that there's one night where we had a day off. I was on tour with Pepper, and this was before I was responsible for anyone. So I actually let loose a little bit more than I do now. And we ended up going to a strip club. And I had a girlfriend at the time, so it really wasn't that interesting to me. I just got completely wasted and like just drank free booze because I think they knew us. And we ended up going back to the bus really late. We shut the place down, but I didn't get any lap dances. I didn't get anything. I was like a completely good boy. But like I got back to the bus and I was completely shit-faced, almost to the point of blackout. And I went to bed and got the urge because I was at a strip club all night. And went to go rub one out in my bunk, which this is a real thing that people
I got
do.
the urge. He looked at Duddy and I intently. He's like, I received the urge. Okay. And he like leaned his head down and looked up over his furrowed brow.
sorry.
It was awesome. It was
This
like a
is-
father, like,
this
young
is-
man.
Guys, I have the urge. I'll be back.
I received an urge, and I, as a gentleman,
So
awesome.
as you do, you've got the curtain closed. You're on tour for 2 months. It happens. People do it. Like you can't really like, stop it. Put in my earbuds. I'm like
fully urged.
I'm fully urged. I'm like looking at porn on my phone, which is just the fact that I'm admitting this now is just I'm rethinking this whole thing.
You've gone
It's
too
perfect.
far.
And I got my earbuds in and, doing the business. And all of a sudden, my curtain just flies open.
Oh, in direct
Like-
violation of bus curtain fucking
Flies
law.
open. And Kaleo looks at me and
Oh,
he goes,
Kaleo.
Kaleo looks at me, the guitar player of Pepper. He goes, "You're being loud."
Oh, you were just aggressively, violently in there.
Going for it.
So apparently, like the whole time I was in there, I was like grunting.
Oh, my goodness, this is the best. Oh, man,
So
you're so
he-
shy. Open up and tell us about your life. Come on.
he just looks at me and goes, "You're being loud." And I look back at him and apparently like deer in the headlights, like fucking like, and I just look back and because I have the earbuds still in and God knows it's still
How long was he
playing.
standing
I
there?
just
Yeah.
go, I'm loud? And he goes, yes. And he just closes the curtain, fucking boner goes down, and I'm just like, oh God, like, did that just happen? I just got caught jerking off in my
Like,
bunk.
worst nightmare of all time.
Yeah, and
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I just went back to sleep and woke up the next day in complete shame and
Oh, that's hilarious.
and continued on with the tour. And from then on, it became like a joke. Like if you couldn't in the pepper camp, if like you couldn't hear something or if I'd say something like in a reference, someone would be like, or if I asked them a question, like, hey, do you want more guitar in your monitor? Something stupid like that. They go, I'm loud. So it was like the inside joke just became like that. I'm loud.
I'm loud.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking love that.
That's,
Leo's on the show too. I can't wait. Well, we'll see him again, and we'll remind him of this lovely
Oh,
story.
he-
Dude, next time I see him, I'm gonna be like, I'm loud.
And he'll
like,
get
"Wait,
it
what?"
immediately. Yeah, he'll
Oh,
get it
that's
immediately.
great.
That is amazing.
Brilliant. Perfect. One of my favorite of all time. I
Glad I could
got the
share that.
urge. I was extremely drunk, and
I
I,
was
got
fully
the urge.
urging.
As grown adults do. It's safe. It's legal. It's fair. Oh,
You just
dude.
normally don't do it with a curtain separating you from your friends.
I like first he goes, people do it. People do
do
it.
it. Yeah, people do it. It's, I'm not alone here, am I?
You guys have been right.
In the comments, everybody. Do
Yeah.
you let me?
Do you do that?
Oh, for fuck's sake. We will now roll straight into Poopersville because this
Yes.
is
Because that's a natural segue from
it's a natural.
jerking off
This
to
is a shit
Poopersville.
show.
Hey, man.
Jerking off, and here's some poo-poo stuff. You want to do this? You want to do it, Daddy? Do it. Give me the train track.
Really? You want to
Give
go
me the
for
train
it?
track, dude.
Oh man.
Give me the train track. Sometimes we'll just do our drops live, and we don't. All aboard! Next up, Poopersville.
Toot toot.
All right, so that was exactly how we wanted that to be. Duddy, make sure you put the clap drop in there so it doesn't.
Oh, I'll probably. Just
You have a
delete
story
that.
where you shit yourself, right? Hopefully it wasn't the same. You closed the curtain and shit yourself.
Yeah, no.
Same night.
Yeah,
Do I have a story? No, I have a story about my son shitting himself.
sun
Let's hear
shit.
it.
Yeah.
All right, well,
and
fuck.
this was pretty recent.
Okay.
It's really, you know what? It's not that good of a story, but whatever. I'll tell it anyway. he essentially.
What a setup.
He. All of a sudden, he just like this is like 2 weeks ago. I have to poop. Out of nowhere, he's standing on the couch watching TV, like jumping around, and just like hops off and just runs about. I have to poop. And I'm like, okay, cool. And he's capable of pooping on his own. The only thing is sometimes we have to help him wipe his butt. So I go in there after he calls me. He's like, I'm done pooping, Dad. And I go in there and he's got his pants completely off. And I'm like, okay, that's a little bit strange. Like, you don't normally take your pants off, but whatever. And as soon as I'm done wiping his butt, he hops off and like really secretively almost like just grabs his pants and just starts like shaking them off in the toilet.
Oh, he tries to just whoops a daisy.
Yeah. And I'm like-
Dropping droplets.
I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, nothing. And I'm like, Redding, did you just crap in your pants? And he looks at me with just absolute shame, probably the shame that I have after telling that story, and just goes, yeah, don't tell Mama. It's like, because he knows like my wife's just gonna be
Don't tell mama.
She's gonna make
furious.
fun of him and roast him.
She's just
Is she
gonna
the
be-
ball buster.
yeah, and when it comes to stupid shit like that, like he knew he had to poop. Well, apparently he didn't. I was like, you need to go tell Mom right now. And he ran into the oh my God, I just thought of a poop story
Of your own self.
of my own self.
Well, that's cool. We can roll right into it after this one.
Okay, so long story short, at that point he just runs into my wife and she kind of loses it and berates him for a split second, and then he's fine. He doesn't get grounded or fucking getting put timeout. But I have a story where you and I and my current wife were out drinking one night, and we all ended up at the beach.
Okay.
And for some reason, we were just hanging
Many
out.
of those nights, sure.
We were just hanging out like on a lifeguard tower.
Oh.
Yes, you remember now.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, all of a sudden, I had to just freaking let go. And my wife and I were like barely dating, like at this point. And so the two of us are hanging out up there with Jeff. And I just, all of a sudden, I'm like, I need need to leave, and the closest bathroom is a public restroom, and it's like 3 a.m, and they're closed, of course, because we're at the beach.
As always.
Jeff's house is like
It's too far.
way too far. There's no way I was
Never
gonna
gonna
make
make
it.
Yeah.
And so I actually went down underneath the lifeguard tower and just dug a hole and just took a dump in the hole and then covered it up.
Like a cat.
And it was actually kind of nice because I could like hang from the lifeguard tower. It was a different experience than
You just
you're
have
used
to. You have to have full trust of your friends.
Full
for that.
trust.
Yeah.
And
You could have filmed that, Jeff.
Oh, I know.
Looking back now.
yeah, he could have, and he didn't, thankfully. But yeah,
Funny.
that's
my one. My one was so I'm surfing. I'm like 12, 13 years old. You feel the rumble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wetsuit on?
But same thing. I'm looking at the beach. I'm looking at the public restroom. I'm looking about paddling out further. I'm looking at the public restroom. Like, I could do this. So I get out. I just throw my board down on the berm, start sprinting, and I make it to like right there. I'm like, and I just stop. I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. I just shit myself.
In the wetsuit.
yeah.
Dude,
Trunks or
the
suit?
wetsuit
Just
poop.
imagine me running and I'm full
And
suit.
just
in a
stop
full
it.
Full
suit.
suit, yep.
just
Oh,
stop.
fuck's
And stand
sake.
there and just like
Let it
luckily
go.
It was early in the morning. There weren't that many people around. I just like went to the public shower and just kind of stripped down butt naked real quick and got it all down the drain.
Dude.
And rinsed off and carried on. And I've
Oh.
never said that before. No one knew that. So
Wow.
there you go.
Thank you so, dude.
Nice,
That's what our
dude.
show does
Yeah,
to people.
there
you go.
They
Yeah,
just want to let us
It
know.
loosens them up.
And
Open up.
It loosens. And isn't it funny about? Because like I'm about to piss my pants right now, and but we're almost wrapping up the show, so I'm holding it. But isn't it funny about how shitting or pissing yourself? It's like when you're almost fine, even though it starts to hurt. But when you get in a 10, 15 foot proximity of the toilet, your body understands that and just says, "We're happening now.
It's shot
Your
clock.
body-
It's happening
yeah,
now."
yeah,
Yeah.
Your
And if
body
you're in,
loosens up and goes, "Oh, we made it."
yes,
You're like,
you're like,
"Not
not quite.
Yeah.
And if you're in a full suit, like if with your
There was
pants,
still
you
some
can
steps that
rah.
needed to happen, and eventually
No.
it gave up.
Dude, anyone who
The system
surfed,
gave up and let go.
anyone who's had a cold water surf or lived near a beach and has surfed enough, dude, you have to shit in the full suit, and it's a decision on do you just pull it halfway down, do this in the water. I love that one. You almost made it.
Almost.
Damn.
Almost. Well, shit. Swapcast, dude.
yes.
I think that's it. I think we did it.
Swapcast. That was
played.
awesome.
Yeah.
We had Mike Sutherland. We had Jeff Neeson from Another Take. And this happened out of nowhere. We're both going to release this today for everybody, Friday. This was fucking fun. Anything
thank
you
you
guys
guys for
want?
having
Where
me.
can everybody find you? Give us your plugs on the way out.
You can find Another Take on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, on anywhere you can get podcasts, basically. AnotherTake.net. We also have an Instagram at Another Take Podcast. And then I am on Instagram and Twitter at Mike Sutherland. My name, MikeSutherland.
All right.
Perfect.
And then,
I mean,
You're all
of
same
what he
shit.
said, plus I'm Jeff Neeson.
yeah,
Jeff
There you
Neeson.
go.
at Jeff Neeson.
Nisen.
Nice.
Thank you,
And
guys.
Duddy,
Right on. Well, thank you guys again for another episode. And as always, go to cutlassbrand.com, put in code DuddyB at checkout. You're going to get 15% off your order. And I didn't mention at the top, and I forgot, but I'm mentioning it now on our Patreon page. We are doing something really cool right now. We are on the 4th of July. We are going to raffle off a brand new Ernie Ball Music Man guitar. Actually, Mike handed me that one right behind you there. This thing is an awesome guitar, guys. If you want a chance to win this amazing Ernie Ball Music Man Cutlass guitar, I play this same model on stage with me with the Dirty Heads. It's a great guitar, so go sign up for our Patreon page. Not only will you get this guitar, you're going to get a lot of bonus content. We do bonus episodes every week as well. So thank you guys again, and peace out.
we did it.